both sides there is but one choice if the armies are to continue fighting.
It is absolutely essential not to retreat. Therefore, the men must dig in wherever they find themselves and hold onto the ground they now occupy.
The trench war on the Western Front begins. Both armies dig in. Hundreds of thousands of soldiers, reinforced by wave after wave, millions of new recruits, and ever-growing artillery forces, battle along a 475-mile front, from the English Channel to the Swiss Alps. For more than 2 years, the Western Front scarcely changes in length or geographical trace.
We took 5 trenches last night, but we've been put out of 4 of them, chiefly by bombs. We lost some 1,500 men, I'm afraid. The movement was good, but the expense was great.
Small gains take days of non-stop onslaught and cost hundreds of thousands of lives. In 3 years, a third of the soldiers on both sides perish. Neither side can gain a clear advantage. Though stalemated on the Western Front, the conflict has spread quickly to other continents with economic and political ties, and throughout the vast colonial holdings of the European empires. German U-boats torpedo merchant and passenger ships in neutral waters without warning. This unrestricted submarine warfare expands the conflict onto the high seas. With the sinking of the Lusitania in May 1915 and the loss of American lives, the U.S. threatens to break diplomatic ties with Germany, a threat that helps halt Germany's submarine rampage. Still, by the end of that year, the war already called the Great War is now truly a world war. By 1917, the Allies' horizons had darkened. Russia, a crucial member of the alliance against Germany and Austria-Hungary, is racked with political upheaval. Russia's ability to sustain a war effort is waning. Germany, desperate for a breakthrough, can now concentrate troops on the Western Front. Farms in Allied countries have had a weak harvest. Food is short. Sensing that the tide is turning, the German War Council considers a gamble, reinstating submarine attacks on civilian merchant ships supplying the Allies. It's a race against time. But the Germans believe they can starve the Allies into surrender before Germany itself is strangled by Britain's ongoing naval blockade. They calculate the risk of drawing America into the war.
From a military point of view, America is nothing. Almost no Americans will volunteer for war service. America has already produced as much ammunition as she is able to produce. America's entrance is nothing.
I read in today's paper that the USA threatens to come over here and help us. The very thought of the possibility fills me with joy. It would redeem her in the world's eye. It's a cleansing wind blowing for the nations that have died.
To Americans, the war has always been over there. That is clearly changing. But neither is the war quite over here. In contrast to war-weary Europe, American life during this same period pulses with energy and, for many, optimism. War production for the Allies has spurred the growth of the nation's industrial economy. As barons of industry seize opportunities in steel, oil, lumber, and coal, social reformers push to change the conditions spawned by the growth of industrial cities. In fields and factories, from suffragettes to civil rights activists, most Americans are preoccupied with their own destinies, and the majority sees no reason to fight Europe's war. While President Wilson makes efforts to broker peace in Europe, he tells Americans it is not their war, and most agree. But the war has already touched many Americans. Tensions are rising. The U.S. is a country of immigrants. 10 million are from Germany and Austria-Hungary. A large Irish and prosperous German-American population backs these forces. Millions of others back the Allies, Great Britain, France, and Russia. Some Americans see the war as a class struggle, the folly of emperors at the expense of common people. For a few, war is a business decision, a golden opportunity to supply the warriors while staying clear of the war. As the debate intensifies, President Wilson narrowly wins re-election in 1916 under the slogan, "He kept us out of the war." But in the early months of 1917, few Americans can deny that war, whether the U.S. joins in or not, is just over the horizon. Germany's unrestricted submarine warfare resumes and begins to take its toll.
At 10:30 p.m. there was a muffled noise. 5 sharp blasts. A signal to abandon. Lower away! Someone gave the order. We started downward.
My beloved mother and sister have been foully murdered on the high seas. I call upon my government to preserve...
For my part, I am a conscientious objector from the word go. They may shoot me if they like, but they
War would benefit only the class of people who will be made prosperous, who have already made millions of dollars.
I must tell you something of the extraordinary change in this country. Apathy, indifference, and ignorance are fast disappearing under the impact of these great...
The war is upon us, and we all, individually in the privacy of our own hearts, collectively as a nation, must decide what we are going to do about it.
Germany has long been at work on American soil through acts of industrial sabotage and attempts to bribe politicians. Now, news breaks that German Foreign Minister Arthur Zimmermann has secretly offered to finance Mexico in a war against the United States. More threatening, Germany urges Mexico to persuade Japan to join the fight.
Gentlemen of Congress, the present German submarine warfare against...
Within weeks, President Wilson asks Congress to declare war on Germany.
...to be in fact nothing less than war against the United States.
At this moment in time, it is not clear whether America's decision has come in time to save the Allies, whether Germany's gamble on unrestricted submarine warfare will pay off, whether some as yet unforeseen event will change the outcome of the war. The war will change America, leaving in its wake a broader expression of freedom, a new era in the politics of women and minorities. What will this mean to a world America hoped to make safe for democracy? The war will thrust America onto the global stage. No matter who wins, can America retreat again into isolationism? The war will transform America's industrial and military might. If the Allies prevail, how will America use its post-war power? There is one certainty: America's horizon has changed. Global war has collapsed all horizons into one. Beyond this moment in 1917 lies the future of the world.